What are those birds talk at?
That's a dove, isn't it?
Yeah, look at that snake, Mom. A snake. Oh, no, a snake. A snake. Look at that tree. A snake. Is he alive? Yes. No.
Oh.
What is that?
He doesn't move.
Oh, he's alive. He's alive. What's that? What's that? It's a turtle down in the water. The turtle's down in the water. Oh, there's a crocodile. Look, the turtle's down in the water over there. Whoa! Ben, don't go ahead, Ben. This is cool. Ben, don't go ahead. We're gonna go see. Don't tell us. Don't tell us.
One is the Cuban crocodile.
Oh,
Came from Cuba. This right here, guys, this one is the most dangerous crocodile here.
How do you know?
It says on the window.
Why?
Because they're the most colorful and
What can they do to you, Mom? What can they do? Eat you. No. What can they do, Mom?
this is the most endangered of all the world's crocodiles.
Hey.
Big net. See him? See him, Jonathan?
Don't tell us.
What is it?
Mom.
Tell Daddy what it is.
How high is it in here? How high is it? It says how high it is in here. Don't tell us what it is. We'll come look. Oh, there's two of them.
Man, he looks
Hey! What are they? Pinky. That's sharp nails. That's sharp nails.
oh, that is gross.
Get up close.
That one eat that one. That one eat that one.
Look at the yellow one. Oh, that's a albino.
Is that a python?
It's an albino one.
What's that?
Huge.
It's albino. If you want to see the snake show,
That's loving me. It's loving me.
Isn't that bad? Does anyone know what kind of snake this is?
it's an albino.
Yep, it is an albino.
Python.
That's right. A lot of times when I ask that, someone will say boa constrictor. And for some reason, a lot of people associate all large snakes with being boa constrictors. And the fact is, this snake is a mangrove snake. This is a rear-fanged snake. And the rear-fanged snakes don't actually have the ability to inject their venom like the other two groups of venomous snakes do. Instead, they have two enlarged teeth in the back of their mouth, and those teeth have grooves or channels that run down the sides of them. The mouth has two extremely long fangs, and the fangs of the viperine snakes are so long, in fact, that if they didn't have the ability to fold those fangs to the roof of their mouth when they weren't using them, the fangs would stick out through the bottom of the snake's chin. And the reason they're so much more efficient in killing their prey is because when they strike at their prey, they'll open their mouth to a 180-degree angle, What it does is it makes those fangs stick straight out in front of the snake, so they don't actually have to bite their prey, but really strike at it. Now they'll embed those fangs for a split second, and that's all they need to inject their venom. So it goes to their body, they look like any other common snake, a lot like the creeble I had out here to begin with. Primals, or first thing comes into a lot of people's mind when they first see the cobra is the snake charmer playing his flute while the snake is swaying back and forth to the rhythm of the music. The only problem with that is the fact that the cobra, like all snakes, have no external ears. They can't hear. So what they're actually doing is they're just following the movement of the flute and not the rhythm of the music. Now, a lot of people try and tell me that they can tell the difference between the venomous snakes and the non-venomous snakes simply by looking at a couple of physical characteristics on them. You guys may have heard of some of these. A lot of people say that venomous snakes have a vertical pupil, or that venomous snakes have a triangle-shaped head. The fact is, you can find many snakes, both venomous and non-venomous, that share both of those characteristics. So probably the best way to tell if a snake is venomous or not is just to find out which snakes are venomous in the area that you live in, and then learn to identify them. And here in South Dakota, we do have one type of venomous snake, and that is a prairie rattlesnake. And a lot of people will live their whole life here and they'll never see a single one. And a lot of people say you can tell the age of a rattlesnake by counting the segments on the rattle. That's not true. Rattlesnakes will add a segment to their tail every time they shed their skin. That can be anywhere between 1 and 6 times a year. It all depends on how much the snake has grown. And another common myth about rattlesnakes, a lot of people say that rattlesnakes have to rattle before they strike.
Wrong.
No, they don't. Rattlesnakes don't need to get permission from their tail to strike itself. That's the best way to look at that. They can rattle and then strike, strike and then rattle, rattle not strike, strike not rattle. Doesn't really matter.
You can kind of see how they get their names from the restorative coloration of their tail. They're not actually born with that coloration. It does take about 2 years for them to fully develop. But the other 3 characteristics that I was talking about, first of which would be their very powerful feet and sharp talons. They use their feet for both catching and killing their prey. They'll grab onto it, they'll use their back toe, which is called a callus, and they'll basically drive their callus into the breadbasket of the animal that they've caught. Then all birds of prey, they do have a very, very sharp hooked upper beak, and they'll use their beak for tearing their food into small enough pieces for them to easily swallow whole. And the last adaptation would be their vision. All birds of prey have said to be anywhere from 8 to 10 times that of a human's eyesight. And for example, you could actually take Jamie here and put her in a football field, put her on one goal post, put a piece of newspaper on the other goal post. She'd actually be able to read that newspaper from 100 yards away. That's how good their vision is.
Is it all right to photograph?
Yeah, please take pictures.
Are those the kinds that...
This bird is actually blind, so.
Oh, really?
So she probably wasn't going.
Are those the kind that dive into the river?
They kind of get their name from being associated with human habitations like barns and silos and even outhouses. Other common names for these guys would be the monkey face or the heart face owl, for obvious reasons. But the reason that their face is shaped like that is what that is. That's basically a facial disc, and it better enables sound to more efficiently goes directly to their ears. Is what its primary purpose is. And it's interesting. The barn owls actually have one ear that's located high on their skull and one ear that's located low. And it's just better enables the barn owl to pinpoint the exact location of what they're listening to. The barn owls actually have such good hearing that they can locate prey up to a quarter of a mile away. So they do have very, very good hearing. It would be like mice running through fields up to a quarter of a mile away.
Is that full grown?
Yeah, she is full grown. So they weighs about 1.5 pounds. Wow. She's about 6 years old. In the wild, they'll live 1.5 to 3 years. In captivity, anywhere from 4 to 15. She's 6 years old. She's what we call a human imprint. That's where Rusty here is actually bred intentionally. American kestrel. Another common name for these guys is a sparrowhawk. It's actually rather misleading because they're neither a sparrow nor a hawk. They're actually part of the falcon family. Falcons are primarily designed for speed. If you look at her wings and her tail, both wings and tail are extremely long and very, very thin. Those are all adaptations for speed. Their primary diet is going to be birds. And what they do is they gain a lot of altitude and really steep dives. And they'll actually, once they get closer, they'll chase and they follow their feet with a little fist, basically punch the bird out of the sky. So they would have to use their speed and their weight. They'll knock it out and then they'll hit the ground and pounce on and grab it with their talon. And then they actually have a little hook on their upper beak that they'll use to trade them after the game. You guys know the fastest animal on earth? They get their name from the tufts of feathers on top of their head. They'll actually use those feathers for communication purposes with another great one owl. They you notice how large Cheyenne's eyes are? The eyes of a great horned owl will actually take 2/3 of the interior space of their skull. With eyes that big, they actually take up that much room. They actually have to sacrifice something in their skull. What they sacrifice was the muscles surrounding their eyes that allowed their eyes to rotate within their sockets, move left and right, and up and down. And so for an owl to see something, they actually have to turn their head. Their eyes are completely stationary. Neat adaptation of great horned owls. If you look at her feet, you notice that feet are covered with covered with hair all the way down to her talons with fur. Feathers all the way down to her talons. That serves a couple of purposes. One is it helps keep the bird's feet warm during the winter, but also a nickname for the great horned owl is the flying tiger. That's just due to their tenacity when they hunt. The great horned owl will actually feed on anything that they can reasonably catch and overpower, including other birds of prey like red-tailed hawks and barn owls. Feed on cats, small puppies, actually, yeah, exactly. And actually feed on animals up to the size of a skunk and a porcupine. If you can imagine reaching down and grab a porcupine with a bare hand, you have a little bit of protection for your hand, and that's what it's better to serve. But if a great horned owl feeds on skunks, what does that tell you about their sense of smell? Actually don't have one. The vast majority of all birds don't. But their ears actually aren't even located anywhere around that. Their ears go straight out from her eyes and down about an inch.
So when they're sticking out, does that mean like right now she's kind of nervous?
She's actually new to the show, so she's not as comfortable as some of the other birds are doing the shows. And so yeah, when they're sticking straight up, they're actually pretty annoyed. And then when they lay flat, you can kind of tell what a great horned owl is thinking about its touch of feathers. Do you guys have any other questions about Cheyenne or any of the other birds that I have?